Should I sell my soul for total control? Great title for a video, right? Of course, I'm trying to get your attention. I got to come up with provocative titles. But the answer is no. Do not sell your soul for anything, no matter what. But this great quote that inspired the title supposedly was said, and I can see it, having been a fan of hers, I can definitely see Tina Turner saying this. So supposedly Tina Turner, she said, I would sell my soul for total control, which I love it. I'm a wordsmith. I memorize great things like that. And I am a control freak myself. So I'm a major control freak. But you shouldn't sell your soul for anything. Then, in fact, one of my favorite songs, it's called Real Man, R-E-A-L-M-A-N. It just, there's a line in that song where Todd Rundgren says, don't sell yourself for nothing. Don't sell yourself for nothing. And your soul, to me, you know, I'm speaking in non-religious phrases here. Your soul is the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are. Now, some would say that that's a piece of God and all of that, and I don't want to get into the religious aspects of what your soul is, but that's how I define it. I don't think you should sell your soul for anything. But I do appreciate the quote, I'd sell my soul for total control. I do appreciate that quote, and I do understand exactly where Tina Turner's coming from. Just study her life. She spent the early years being dominated by Ike Turner, her control freak of a husband who about killed her more than once. So it doesn't surprise me that Tina Turner would say that. It's a great quote, I'd sell my soul for total control. Now look, control is largely an illusion. You know that. You think you're in control, and then you slip and fall in the shower and you get killed, you know? You think you're in control and something comes along and blindsides you, proves to you, like I'm driving in my car right now, I think I'm in control of this vehicle, and then all of a sudden some vehicle is going to come out of nowhere and smash into me. So control is largely an illusion, and yet it's an illusion that I love. And if you're an entrepreneur, or if you want to be a good entrepreneur or a great entrepreneur, whatever that means, good, great, then you should strive for control. You're never going to get there 100%, and yet there are things there. I look at every experience in life as being broke down into two things, really. Those things that you control or have some degree of control over, let's put it that way, and the things you have absolutely no control over. Now, what do you control, or what can you control? I've thought about this a lot, by the way, so I know I'm just having a candid conversation here, well, really with myself, hoping that I'll get some listeners here who will identify with this and get something out of this, but you control your thoughts and your actions. That's it. Hate to tell you, but that's all you really control. Now, the good news is that out of those thoughts and actions, oh God, it's like the primary colors, you know? I had to study all of that at one point in my life, and you know, every color comes from three primary colors. That's all, even black and white, which was a hard thing for me to understand. What? Black is not a color? No, it's not a color. White is not a color? Nope. But there's only three primary colors, and out of those three colors, you get an endless variety of different shades. Same thing with control. You control your thoughts, you control your actions. Now, within those two things, man, you got a lot of choices. You got a lot of choices. And I once came up with a list of about 50 things, although most of those things all related to each other, and a lot of things you can have control over. A lot of things you can. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction, your actions towards it, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're an entrepreneur, this is so important. Because being an entrepreneur, and I know because I've been one for 35 years now, 35 years of my life, I've been fully self-employed as my own boss, and I can tell you, you're going to get a lot more problems, a lot more, you're going to have to deal with a lot more headaches and hassles, adversity, setbacks, disappointments, suffering, And you're going to have to control your thoughts. Here's a train in the background, so ignore this train. I'm stuck in a train right now. Newton, Kansas. That's the glory of Newton, Kansas, where I do a lot of my work here. It's a train town, so ignore the train here. But you strive for control. You're never going to get control fully. Hopefully the noise here will not be too distracting. You strive for control. You're never going to get it fully. So much of life just comes, you like I said, you plan everything out and then you get blindsided. But when you do get blindsided, every time you fall, you pick up the pieces and move on. I mean, every time you fall, you try to pick up the pieces and carry something new with you. Your heart gets shattered in a million pieces, but when it grows back stronger, right? So you strive for control. Now, here is the thing. I've studied the lives of, God knows, hundreds or thousands of entrepreneurs. It's my hobby. It's my passion. It's something I'm interested in. Call me a freak if you want, but I've got 10,000 books waiting for me at home right now. And they're my best friends, too, except for my wife. If my wife ever listens to this. I've got 10,000 books, and a lot of them are biographies, and I love reading the stories of the lives of all these famous entrepreneurs and people who achieve success. And I will tell you that every one of them was a control freak. Every one of them could have identified with Tina Turner's great quote here, "I'd sell my soul for total control." Every one of them, without fail. Now, you also come to terms with the fact that if you try to control too much, you lose all your people. So, you can't control people, which, by the way, every control freak finds that out rather quickly. People will not be controlled. The only problem with managing people, they refuse to be managed. So you can't control people. You can control your actions and your reactions towards whatever they do or say or whatever. You can control your attitude, your outlook, your mindset, your state management. I could see somebody like my wife who's wheelchair bound going, "I don't control my actions because I'm in a wheelchair." Well, at least she can control her breathing. And thousands of years of people who have been meditating say that that's one of the single most important aspects in meditation, which is state management in its most extreme form. So you can control so much. Look, that's the bottom line. Your whole experience of life can be controlled at some level. Even when really bad things happen to you, you can pick up the pieces rather quickly. You don't have to let it devastate you or depress you, or you can shorten the time periods of being depressed or whatever. Look, here's one. Oh, so look, not every control freak is an entrepreneur. This is a quote that I wrote this morning. So this is an original quote. So if you want to steal it, put my name on it, please. Don't put your own name on it. This is my quote. But not every great entrepreneur or not every control freak is an entrepreneur. My wife is a control freak. She's definitely not an entrepreneur. She's a business owner, but she's not an entrepreneur. I can promise you that. So not every control freak is an entrepreneur, but every entrepreneur is a control freak. Every entrepreneur that's any good, any great entrepreneur, good entrepreneur is a control freak, because you're always trying to control what you can control. And then one last thing, I'm trying to keep this short, and I'm at the office now, so I got to quit anyway. The train is gone. Less is more. Robert Browning supposedly said that, some famous poet. I've got a book of his poetry. That's the only good quote that came out of that poetry book for me. I'm not much into poetry, but Robert Browning said that less is more. And I love that quote. Less is more. So to me, having a life that's focused around fewer but more important things has been the secret to my overall success in business, my success at trying to be happy in an unhappy world, my sense of fulfillment, if you will. So less is more. And then whoever said with power comes great responsibility should reverse it. In Mark Manson's great book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which, by the way, that is the title of his book, so it's a bestseller too. It's an outrageous title. He quoted this phrase, with power comes great responsibility, is the quote. But as Mark Manson helped me understand, it's the exact reverse. With responsibility comes great power. And power is your ability to act. If you study that word power in the dictionary, the first definition in most dictionaries is usually, and they don't even have dictionaries these days. What do you mean? Online dictionary. The ability to act, the ability to take action, that's power. So with power, instead of with power comes great responsibility, you flip it, you invert it, and then you think deeply about the meaning behind it. With responsibility, which is your ability to respond, comes great power. So God bless you. I hope that you benefited from this. Don't sell your soul for anything, but do strive for total control, especially if you aspire to be a great entrepreneur. Thank you. I hope something I've said here has made a difference. If it did, pass this video on. And bye for now.